Snaps for losers, man. I don't get involved in that stuff, but
Angel Rashad Milligan rolling out.
That's a good question.
Brandon,
We
you want one
can't, we
quick
can't, we
question?
can't ask Rashad questions.
Okay, Rashad.
Okay, this Quita situation. So let's get into it, bro. Quita is being attacked, bro, on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. She's being attacked because she apparently said something about Caitlin Clark, like she was defending Caitlin Clark or something. They were saying they're like, "Oh, you a coon." Like I seen people call her a coon. So she said someone clipped it up and they were like, "Well, show the full clip for context." And someone was like, "This doesn't make it any better." So I'm gonna watch it for the first time on stream, and then we'll get into it. And then I also have to tell my own story.
So the investigation has been launched. Now, truly, my perspective, do I think they're gonna find anything concrete? Honestly, no. I don't think this investigation will lead to anything found that was said at the game. Now, here's the deal. I want to be clear. Are there some racist fans of the W? Yes, that's real. Are there a lot of them? No, I don't think so. No, I don't. Are there some? Yes, absolutely. Do I believe that something racist actually happened at the game on Saturday? No, I don't. I don't believe they're going to find any evidence of anything that actually happened in the arena on Saturday. Now, could I be wrong? Sure, I could be wrong. I just think that somebody would have said something during the game, like it would have. We would have seen clips on Twitter. We would have seen a whole bunch of stuff happening. We would have seen something if something actually did. All right. So yeah, racism is real, and there are some racist people, but I don't actually think anything happened yesterday on Saturday. I don't. But the WNBA, because the allegations have come through, you got to investigate. You got to see what's going on, and we'll see what comes to light. Of course, no WNBA player would agree with anybody saying extremely hateful or racist stuff. Like, of course, no one will agree with that. No one will agree that is okay in our game. Right? You can pick any WNBA player on any team. They'll all denounce it. They'll all talk about it and whatnot. But yeah. So yeah, that's my thoughts right there. Is that controversial? Probably. Will some people be like, "See, you're terrible because you said nothing. You don't think anything happened," or they're like, "You're terrible for even saying that they're racist WNBA fans." I mean, racism is a thing. It just exists. So there's some people who just are. Now, I don't, again, I think it's a small amount. I think it's a very small amount. And when people say stuff, hey, talk about it, acknowledge it. Let's kind of, isolate those people and be like, hey, nah, what you saying is not okay. Okay. So, but did anything happen in the game? I don't think anything did. I don't think anything did. But we'll see. It's an investigation, so we will see what happens. Okay.
All right, cool. So, all right, hold on. Let me pull this up. Okay. Before I get into, I guess, a response or how I feel about what she said, first thing I do want to say is I think it was last year. Yeah, it was last year. And I came across Quita's channel and I was following it for probably about a month. And I was just looking at her numbers, bro, like of covering women's basketball, and like her numbers were like sensational. You know what I mean? Like she getting like 1,000 viewers on live, and she's getting like 10,000 subscribers, then 15,000, then 20,000. And this is happening in the span of a couple months. I'm like, yo, this is insane. So I'm watching them, and it's like presented in such a professional manner. Like, she got lower thirds, she got the thing going, she doing the video looks clear, it looks crystal clear and stuff. And so I'm just like, bro, okay, if I'm gonna go and get on the streaming stuff and everything like that, because my boy Holla, he already told me, shout out to Holla. He already told me he does YouTube and stuff like that. Holla at Crazy. He was like, "Yo, you need to stream every night, and then you need to clip it up and then post them as videos." So I was already thinking about, streaming. I just, you know how it goes: procrastination, dragging your feet, making excuses for yourself. And so I seen Keita kind of do like exactly what he was saying in the world, similar to a lot of the stuff that I was, that I was kind of doing. So when I have a question, I just reach out. So I email Keita, and I tell you now, bro, I kid you not, dog. Hold on. I'm stop sharing. I'm stop sharing real quick. I kid you not. In the span of like moments, seconds, minutes, Keita got back to me like in paragraphs, bro, of like everything breaking down, all the equipment and the detail, down to the model and down to the store where she got it from, where she bought it and stuff like that. And like how she had the background of creating her thumbnails, her schedule of posting every day, the pros and the cons of posting every day, and then how she balanced it out with her life, because she has going on in her personal life, a full-time 40 hour a week job. Like, she's breaking it down to me, bro, like in paragraphs. And she's like, "I'm sorry, this was a bit of stream of conscious, and I didn't expect this email to be so long. Anyways, if you have any more questions, just let me know." I'm telling you, I've been in media, been getting paid to do media stuff for 10 years. I've been getting paid to do the media stuff for 10 years now. And I've been in it just like since as a student journalist for 11 years at newspapers and things of that sort. Coming across people and asking them like in a similar field more times than that, folks is gonna gatekeep, bro. They're gonna gatekeep. They're not gonna tell you, or they're gonna keep it extremely vague and keep you moving, keep it pushing and stuff like that. Keita went in detail with me about every single thing, how she does it, what time she does it, this and that. And then also was like, "Yo, Rashad, I used to watch your content back in the day and stuff like that. Like, I used to, like, you know what I'm saying, before I started making content myself. Like, it's cool that you reached out. I appreciate that. Ooh." And it's like, bro, that's real, dog. Like you can't fake that. You can't fake a genuine connection and everything. I say this to say I don't think Keita is a coon. I see a lot of people calling her a coon and stuff like that. What I think Keita has done here, and what I don't know, like, I haven't watched all of her streams and stuff like that. Like, I don't watch too many streams of people like kind of in women's basketball space. In the women's basketball space, like, I don't watch too much of that content. Like, I check it out every now and again to know what they got going on, what's their flavor and stuff like that. But I don't watch too much of it just because I don't want that to kind of bleed into my stuff. And, I'm subconsciously just like taking on their personality, taking on their takes, taking on their thing. Like, I want to keep it like, you know what I'm saying? Keep something like, if a thousand of us making the same video about the same topic, I don't want it to sound the exact same as everybody else. You know what I'm saying? So I don't watch everybody's women's basketball stuff every single day. However, um, just from the little bit I have seen this clip, and then just with her growth and her support, I think it is fair to kind of draw from that the case with Keita is she she loves everybody. She loves everybody, she supports everybody, right? So if you love and support everybody, a lot of times on camera or online, that could come across as all lives matter or I don't see color. And even though she said I see racism, and racism exists and it's something this and that, but it's kind of like playing a both sides of the fence that's like safer. And when you play both sides of the fence and it's safer, then um you just like more likely to appeal to people, because you know what I'm saying. Then they could be like, "Oh, finally!" Like, you check a lot of boxes for like the people who want to get off their prejudice takes, right? And they don't want to be condemned for taking for making their prejudice takes. And I think is you're a black woman, you're a Chicago Sky slash Angel Reese fan, and you have a YouTube channel with a large following. So it's like all three of those things kind of like validate themselves for getting off whatever takes and using you as the example of, okay, this is cool to say, this is cool to do, and this and that. Woo woo. And and I think that there's a bit like it opens the door for things to be problematic. When you make a take and you're standing on one side of the thing and you let it known like this is my take, I'm on this side of the fence, as opposed to just straggling the fence to kind of keep people happy. I think it leaves the door open for like disrespect and a lot of the troubling and kind of unsafe messages that Angel has received. Just to go to Angel specifically. All right, now go to what you're saying here in particular of you don't believe the fan thing. I 100% believe the fan thing. Angel, I don't put it past at all that Angel didn't react because Angel has kind of swerved publicly. I mean, obviously outside of the actual kind of head to head, she swerved publicly any of the racist stuff and the Caitlin Clark stuff because she doesn't want to give attention. Everything is next question, next question. They asked about it today at practice, and PR was like, next question. They're cutting them off. They're not really speaking about it. Before the season, she said next question when asked about Caitlin Clark. Whenever it's mentioned, it's just next question, next question. She's doing more than what she can do this year and trying not to draw attention to what she's been dealing with the past 3 years. And I think that might just be a attack. I don't know if a tactic is the right word, but it might be the method or the way that her team, Angel's personal team, and Chicago Sky Communications have decided to go forward with the season and her career to kind of move past these past 3 years and kind of get over it and just get back to the basketball and being a basketball player, because it's draining being a basketball player. And also like the trending topic on Twitter, like you know what I'm saying? She's a conversation starter, a needle mover. And it's like, I just want to play basketball, bro. And it's cool while I play basketball. I could be that thing for black girls and things to look up. Like, I'm sure Angel Reese will love to be like perceived as Asia Wilson, where it's like Asia Wilson, she motivates and is this great kind of role model for all these young black girls, and she writes the Dear Black Girl book, and she talks about dealing with her reading disability, and what I mean, like it's just kind of like clean with Asia. But Asia, you could argue, doesn't have as much fame and acclaim and public notoriety that Angel Reese does. And why does Angel Reese have so much public acclaim, notoriety? And same thing with Caitlin Clark. I think both of them benefited from just pure racism, which goes to Deontay Cal's point. Hold on, give me a second here. Pull up Deontay Cal. Shout out to Deontay Cal, Grits and Eggs podcast. Nobody paid attention to women's basketball until white men could use it as a simulation for their race war. And I agree with that. Like, I do think women's basketball was already on the rise, everything like that. You've seen starting from 2020 with Paige Bakers coming out of high school, coming out of Hopkins, coming into the league and stuff like that. But at the same token, the sudden kind of jump from the slow come up of 2020 and everything like that, the sudden jump in 2023 was definitely surrounded by just pure racism. And to say that, yes, there are some racist fans in the WNBA, but not many, is kind of crazy knowing like the history of these past 2 seasons and the leading fan base by far and numbers wise going to the games and stuff like that has been Caitlin Clark and Indiana Fever fans. And those have been a lot of the fans who have been the most prejudiced to others, or made prejudiced comments about other players and other fans and things of that sort, and the hateful speech towards each other, to the point where the WNBA had to put out a stop bullying campaign and statement, and they had to do this investigation. Like, there's a reason why all of this is going on. It might seem like a lot, but the stuff has been so bad for the past 2 seasons. They have to do, okay, we're going to do this about every little thing. We're going to do an investigation about internet comment. We're going to do Oh, you was making monkey noises while Angel Reese was at the free throw line? Say that. Bet. Because exactly when they did that to Draymond, they got the boy out of here. What was that? In Minnesota in the playoffs this year? They got boy out of here, man. You know what I'm saying? And you just can't be doing that. So like also, like I said at the beginning of this whole thing, Quita's not a coon. The way that she's kind of like just responded to me in our brief interaction shows me that she's an extremely genuine person and she loves everybody and she wants everybody to win. And I think when you bring up that everybody, I love everybody, I'm so genuine, you know what I'm saying? All that type of energy to the camera, it could come across as all lives matter and I don't see color and this and that, kumbaya, when everything ain't always kumbaya. And sometimes you need to call it out for not being kumbaya. Also, Quita posts every single day, bruh. You post every single day on this internet. One of these days, one of your takes, one of your things, people gonna grab, eat up. You gonna have your day on the internet, bro. If you prevalent enough on the internet, you every single one of us who is active on the internet chronically is gonna have our moment on the internet. And when it comes, it just comes. You just weather the storm, you keep going. You do like Zoe Spencer, man. You do like Zoe Spencer. Hold on, where's Zoe Spencer? You do like Zoe Spencer and you return by making it a joke. You know what I'm saying? You call me a plant, I came back to stream surrounded by a bunch of plants. You got to just laugh at it, bro. Like so I don't know if necessarily you need to like go in a coon suit and be like, "Oh, Miss Coon here." Like, don't do that. But just play into it. Understand that if you keep posting, people gonna forget about it. They're gonna move on. It's gonna be a certain section of people who are just kind of like honestly miserable with themselves and their lives, so they're gonna hold on to it forever and never forgive you or never move on. But like I said, in our basic interaction, because y'all know I'm the first person to call somebody a coon, to call somebody, this or that, any name under the sun when it comes to pertaining to race and the black people and the black community, people I have such an affinity for forever and always. Y'all know when I'll call somebody out for being anti-black or self-hating or self-loathing, anything like that. And Quita is not an example of that. I could tell you that 100% off bat, bro. She's a solid individual, more beyond solid, just a genuine great person. And for her to open up to me as who some people might see as more of a quote unquote radical or quote unquote controversial with my opinions and stances and stuff. Sometimes as a new fresh streamer, couple months into it, for her to do that, it meant a lot to me and it showed me a lot about her and her character. So anybody that hated black people wouldn't have done that. I'll tell you that much. All right. But yeah, I don't agree with her take. I don't think she's a coon. I guess that's the whole summary of this video. Next topic. Oh, I want to see this Jamel Hill thing about this whole thing. She's talking about
away from the Caitlin Clark drama. Like Caitlin Clark, I don't pick up that Angel Reese has a personal hatred of Caitlin Clark. What I do pick up from Angel Reese, because she said it, and I like to go with the face value of what the athlete actually says, is I think she resents the fact that she can't have her separate story away from the Caitlin Clark drama. Like Caitlin Clark can have her separate story. Like when Caitlin Clark is in any press conference or whatever, unless she's playing Angel Reese or it's something specifically that they have done together that is happening in the moment, she is not asked about Angel Reese at all. She's asked about thousands of other things about her ability as a basketball player. Angel Reese is always routinely asked about Caitlin Clark. And I think she resents that part of it, is the fact that like, hey, I can't even have my own identity.
Oh, let me see. Chris is in the chat. I don't know if I would say I don't know if I would say hate, but Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark do not like each other. 100%. I made a whole video about that, Chris. Like, but I do think hate, the reason why RG3 got a lot of the backlash on using the word hate. First of all, like I said, you ain't said one word about Jewel Lloyd in the season opener for the Las Vegas Aces having the fourth most shots on the team and them losing by what did they lose by? They lost by maybe less than double digits or double digits. I ain't hear one word about what makes Nafisa Collier so dominant as a basketball player. I didn't hear one word about who your preseason picks to be, you know what I'm saying? Nathan Snell, who your preseason picks to be, you know, the top 4 or 5 contending teams in the league. I didn't hear one thing about your thoughts on Brittany Griner to Atlanta and how the new front court for the Dream is going to look in a system that is essentially 5 spread with BG and Breonna Jones shooting more threes than they ever have in their career. What is that going to look like? What is all that size up front going to look like for Atlanta for a team whose center was Cheyenne Parker Tice? Which salute to Cheyenne Parker Tice, but it's probably more of a naturally traditional power forward. You had her at center for years, and then you had Tina Charles, who's also a power forward, but you had her at center because Cheyenne Parker Tyus was out. You know what I'm saying? So it was like this team that has kind of dealt with size issues down low finally has 2 elite all-star, and then in the case of BG, legendary caliber talent in the front court with the Atlanta Dream, a team that has needed that. In addition to guard guard depth as well. I haven't heard one thing about that from RG3. And that's the problem that I have with him, first of all, even speaking on it. But him speaking on it, him saying hate with Angel and Caitlin is such a strong word because Angel has received so much hate language. And I feel like when you say hate, it opens up the can of worms of just like hate, right? And I don't think that's responsible of RG3. And yeah, so with that being said, I'm gonna watch the rest of this thing. Chris, he just said something to you, Nathan. Nathan, if you're still in here, respond to Chris, please. And y'all build a little, you know what I'm saying, connection, things of that sort, for real.
I can't even have my own identity outside of this storyline that has been following me since college. And if we recall, when Angel Reese announced she wasn't coming back to LSU, when she was in tears, no one had any sympathy for her when she talked about these same men now that are chiming in about Angel Reese and, you know, talking about her behavior and all this. When she cried before the public and told you part of the reason she was leaving LSU was because of all the racial animosity that she faced. They had no sympathy for her. And so she is carrying this chip and she is carrying this resentment, but I don't think it's about Caitlin Clark. I think it's about the way that people have talked about her and about the lack of, frankly, grace that they have shown her through since that moment where she, you know, trash talked Caitlin Clark and flaunted that she won a championship. They have painted this woman out to be so villainous, and we forget how young she still is, that naturally she's wearing a lot of that on her sleeve. So I thought RG3, he's entitled to his own opinion, but I thought his analysis missed the mark and it was unfair, personally.
I ain't gonna lie. You can say what you want about Jamel Hill. You can say you don't like her, bro. She was on point with that joint. She was on point with that, bro. She was on point with that. That's like Jamel Hill always just been good, like with words and stuff. Yeah, I know, like, okay, with Twitter, she like grew up, and as she got older, she became a little more corny, and people just made fun of how corny she became and stuff. But I don't know, man. Jamel Hill, when she get on point, man, come on, bro. Shout out to Jamel Hill, brother, for sure.
That's for losers, man. I don't get involved in that stuff, but
Angel Rashad Milligan rolling out.
That's a good question.
Brandon,
We can't ask Rashad a question.
Hey, Rashad.